Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. I am your host, as always, River Lee, the founder of the Savvy Groomer, where I teach pet professionals how to make profit with their passion. So, to begin today, you can say this is a weird setup, right? So, I'm here in Florida. I'm so sorry this isn't live. We don't have awesome enough internet in order to go live. So, I figured I would just record it. We're not going to have an intro, we're not going to have an outro. We're going to do our best. And by yes, thank you very much for asking. I do have a tan. Boop, boop, boop. I'm so excited. I live in New England and it's cold and miserable, but it is beautiful and sunny here in Florida. Very happy to be here. So I'm going to be looking down at my notes. Me cheating a little bit. It's all good because I want to make sure I get all of this right. So today's topic is going to be all about the groomer drought. Now, if you are living under a rock, you probably haven't realized that there is a huge shortage of pet groomers. We need more of them. So first, I want to talk about why there might be a groomer drought. Like, what are the theories behind it? And I personally have come up with 3 different theories to why I think that we are lacking groomers. Number 1 is COVID let a lot of groomers that were on the fence about closing their business go ahead and close, retire, go into a new career field, or decide to stay home with their children. A lot of people their kids are at, that's how you know it's live, right? A lot of people have to homeschool their kids now. And, some of us have chosen to take our kids with us in the vans or with us at the shops, but some of us just decided it was easier to let that business go or to not go back to work at a grooming salon. A lot of groomers that were on the fence but retiring, especially if they were older groomers, been grooming 20, 30 years. It's not safe for them to be in grooming salons if they're in their 50s, 60s, or they're high risk. So that is one theory. Another theory is new businesses. There have been so many groomers that were on unemployment and they decided to open their own business. Some of these groomers were asked to only come back part-time because don't forget, COVID's been going on for a year now. So a lot of these groomers in March or April, they figured they were going to be unemployment for a few months, or if they were illegal 1099 groomers, they were, asked to either go down to part-time or things like that. And a lot of them felt like they need to make a decision. And because we honestly didn't know how long this is going to last. We still don't know how long it's going to last. So they decided to go ahead and go out on their own. Let's be honest here. Mobile has exploded and house-based salons have exploded, right? So all of those employees that should be going back into shops or should be going into a new shop have their own businesses. They decided to strike out on their own. And my third theory is grooming schools were shut down. Petco and PetSmart have been closed. Some of them are even still closed in most states and many states. And if you think about all of the groomers Petco and PetSmart alone create every year countrywide, that could be depleted. And now without these corporate salons creating new groomers and in-person training, either by us training our staff or grooming schools, we're going to have a massive shortage. If you think about all those grooming schools that are producing maybe only 10 or 20 groomers, every quarter, that's still like 40, 50 groomers that are created from one school. If you think about that countrywide, even if a Petco or PetSmart only creates 2 groomers a year per shop, there are hundreds of them throughout the country. So I think those are the 3 main reasons that we are seeing a groomer shortage. What do you guys think? Do you think that it's because of those things? Do you think it's something else? For me, I think those are the top 3 things. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, who cares why it's happening? What do we do as an industry? So I want you guys to look around, and figure out why this is happening first, because then we know how to fix it, right? So we have 3 major options in order to fix this groomer shortage. We either need to build, we need to buy, or as businesses, we need to learn how to go solo. So you can invest in your staff or your future staff. Oftentimes we go from being a bather to an assistant to a baby groomer to a finished groomer. Now, that takes an average of 1 to 2 years if the person is talented and a quick study. You can use programs like Paragon, or I love Pep Pursuits, and you can take that, those programs and train your staff to become groomers, right? That's one way of doing it. You can build them up from a bather to a groomer. Another great option that I suggest to many of my clients is to become a mentor for Animal Behavior College. Now, I'm not super thrilled with the Animal Behavior College in general, but what's nice is that you get an employee for free for 100 to 150 hours, depending upon what the requirements are. You get to train them for free, yes, but if you had a bather, you would have trained the bather and trained a baby groomer for free anyway. And not only free, but you actually couldn't do free. You'd have to pay them at least minimum wage. So yes, I agree. And one-on-one training gets really tricky. You want to make sure you know your state laws. And also, like, having zero background for somebody, it takes a lot longer to train them. And it gets a little tricky. So this kind of gives you a shield from employment laws because they're going through another entity versus you being the one to have free internship, because the free internship gets a little tricky. But through Animal Behavior College, they're taking the brunt of that for you. Now, I always say take it like a free trial before you decide to hire somebody. Also, they're going to be a baby groomer. So they're going to be basically a shaver. I hate to say groomer, they're probably going to be a shaver. You're going to be able to do basic things in 100 to 150 hours. Very basic. If you think about that, it's basically 3 to 4 weeks of training. It's like a month, maybe 2 months. And we know it's going to take at least a year minimum, unless if you're incredibly talented. And some people are. Some people are just this magic groomers that are amazing. It's going to take a while for them to become any good. So a lot of times what I suggest is get some from ABC and then hire them hourly and continue to invest in them and train in them and build them up to become your ideal groomer. Everyone grooms differently, unless if you are a master groomer or a feline master groomer. You have a particular style. Like, my grooming looks very different than most of the grooming friends I have. The style that I use, I trained my groomers because I wanted there to be a shop style for pets. And again, it's really nice to have someone you can train up and teach in a way that looks uniform to you. That way your shop, everything that comes out of that shop is uniform. Same thing with mobile. You can put them in the van by themselves once they're fully groomed, they're taught to groom, and they can go out and produce similar quality to you. Now, again, this takes a lot more effort, right? It can take years, at least months, not weeks, months, if not years. And often you invest all that time and energy into someone and they leave anyway. And that's very hard. But generally, this is one of the best ways to create exactly what you want. Now, if that's out of the question for you, the next option is to buy. Now, obviously, we're not buying people. Please don't misunderstand. One second, I can take a sip. By the way, selfish plug, Savvy Groomer mug. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Obviously, you're not buying people. But if you don't want to build a groomer, you can always entice them with enough monies or goodies for them to come work for you. Now, these groomers are not going to just show up. I'm always amazed at how many people just think posting an ad on Facebook will magically get people to come to them. They're currently working, if they're any good, they're currently working at a shop or mobile, or they own their own business. Now, the way to entice them is either money, or a lot of these people right now, they're looking to move to warmer or cheaper parts of the country. So if you live in an area that is like for me, I'm not going to be moving as a groomer, but I would love to live somewhere warmer. I live in New England and the winters are brutal. You're just absolutely brutal. And rent where I'm at is about $2,000 a month. I've looked at places down south that are, a nice apartment, $800 a month, and they don't have snow. And it's like a win-win. So that could be one way you could entice someone who lives, let's say, in New York, New Jersey, California, Washington, Oregon, to come move. Now, California, they're going to have warm anyway, but California taxes are really high. So they may be enticed to move from California to, let's say, Texas for better tax rates and or cheaper living places. So remember, if you are going to hire a skilled groomer to come work for you, whether it's hourly or commissioned, it's going to cost you a lot. I've seen a lot of master groomers command 30, 40, sometimes more an hour. And we all know that the industry is stuck in 40 to 60%, commission rate, which is so bad for business. And if you guys want, you can watch my video all about why 50% is bad for business. I break down the math, and I think it's going to be really eye-opening. Often you would actually break even or even lose money by paying a groomer that much. So you have to be really, really careful. If you're going to entice a groomer to leave their current place, you also have to think about the morality of that. And do you really want to steal someone's groomers? Because ultimately, if you have a groomer who's going to leave a place they love, if they are a sane groomer, a high quality groomer, and their owner is not a crackhead, why would they leave? It doesn't make any sense. If I'm a good owner and I treat my skilled groomer well and I pay them well, why would they take a chance and leave? So when you're enticing another groomer to come over to you, I want you to think about what is so special about your salon that they would want to leave where they are to come work for you. It's generally either money, where you are, or other opportunities. We don't often talk about it enough, but I really love salons that are competition driven. I don't believe that most people make more money by becoming master groomers or by becoming competition level. However, I do think that there are a lot of hungry groomers who want to become better. And if your shop, for instance, I know a shop that if you come on board, you are more than, getting messages. You come on board and you stay there for so many months and you produce what they ask you to produce, they will pay for you to go to competitions. They will help provide dogs from the shop. They'll pay for your hotel, they'll pay your fees. That's a great way to get quality groomers to come to you. Because if they don't have to foot the bill for competitions and you're going to basically hand them dogs that they can then go to those competitions with, that's a great win-win. All right, so let's talk about number 3, which is go solo. Too often grooming salon owners want to go big with 3 to 10 employees or more. Mobiles are always talking about, I want to have 5 or 10 vans, but that can very easily become a disaster. At that stage, you're a manager. You are not a groomer. So you need to ask yourself, do you want to groom or do you want to manage? If your heart is telling you that you'd rather wrangle dogs than employees, consider going solo. Having a niche, marketing well, and setting up your prices high will help you build a business that you love that is effortless. I personally specialize in grooming very niche businesses. It's my passion. You guys know that I was Fila exclusive mobile, which is super niche. I love membership models. I love holistic businesses. There's so many options to go niche and really grow your business in a way that makes sense to you. Now, no matter the cause, no matter what you plan to do with it, we need to agree on one thing. We need more groomers. And one of the easiest way to attract more groomers is to raise your prices. Yes. Here's a good thing about that. Starting in May, Savvy Groomer will be offering a 6-week masterclass. It's going to be all about how to calculate your pricing, increase your pricing, and strategies to communicate that with your clients. And the pre-sale will include bonus one-on-one coaching calls to help you implement all of those things. So space is limited, so I would highly suggest you sign up ASAP before all the spots are gone. Now, I'm really happy that you guys are here with me. I'm sorry this isn't quite live, but I wanted to share these things with you, and I wanted you to hear why you might be noticing things. If I can help you in any way, let me know. All of my information is down below. I'm looking forward to working with you all. And if that doesn't work for you guys can always come and visit in my free Facebook group called Savvy Pet Professionals. All right, guys. So thank you so much for being here with me. And I look forward to seeing you next week. All right, guys. This is River Lee with the Savvy Groomer. Happy grooming.